Hello everyone, welcome once again to our YouTube channel. Here we talk about everything related to Canada immigration, IELTS preparation, TEF Canada preparation. We also talk about your job search abroad in Canada precisely and all other countries. We'll as well talk about research, how to assist you with your project, your thesis and dissertation works if you're an international student. Now, that being said, today we want to continue with our Q&A session. If you have been following this series, you would get to know that we have been answering questions that our attendees have been asking in relation to our webinar that is upcoming on Saturday, the 17th of December 2022. If you have not yet RSVP'd for the webinar is themed JAPA to Canada, or Migrate to Canada Fast in 2023. So if you have not registered, you can click on the link below this video to register yourself right now for the webinar. Now, a lot of people have asked questions. We have had about more than 50 questions being asked, and we feel that we cannot answer all of them in the session. So as a result of that, we want to use this medium to actually be responding to your questions. Now, today we want to talk about the 134th question, which was asked by David Ofori-Larbi, and it centered on the duration of permanent residency in Canada. He said or asked, how long will it take to get my permanent residency status in Canada? Now, that's a very good question, and how long it will take is dependent on where you are currently in your own processing, where you are residing, and also how well you are eligible for permanent residency. So let me break that down. Firstly, where you are in your permanent residency process. Assuming you are just starting, you have not, for instance, gotten your credentials sent to Canada, you have not gotten your TEF Canada or your IELTS done, you understand, and passed, you have not gotten mostly anything done. Then, based on what is prevalent in the Canada immigration process right now, and based on what the immigration minister Sean Fraser has said, he said that right from July, and now we're even in November, he said that they are going to follow the standards of what the permanent residency, especially the express entry, which is 6 months for the processing. So if you are just starting your process, you have not done anything, you just want to start doing something, now you can actually get to do it within 6 months. It can take as long as 6 months or as short as 6 months. If you have started something, then it could be 3 months, 4 months time. But now I want you to note something. A lot of people would always say you can get it in 6 months, and it's true. But a lot of people again who are not ready financially, they are not ready in terms of their eligibility criteria, in terms of their documentation, they are not ready in terms of their own mental readiness. I would say that, because it can be draining at times. They are not ready in those areas. It can take years for them to get set. It can take years for them to get approved. It can take years for them to actually relocate finally to Canada. But if you are in the middle, let me do that. If you're in the middle, you have started something, at least, okay, you have started researching, at least, you have started preparing for IELTS, you have started doing something, as little as it may sound, you understand, it may take also 6 months to actually move to Canada. But now, note, the 6 months we are always quoting is always the processing time that gets started when the IRCC, Immigration Refugees Canada, Citizenship Canada, gets your application. So let's put it into perspective. For instance, if you want to start your Canada immigration process now, and you actually pay for IELTS, you want to write it at the end of the month, you pay for WES, you have sent your credentials abroad, those things will take about 2 months. Roughly, like on an average, it will take about 2 months to get your credentials to Canada, to get evaluated, to get your IELTS prepared for, to get it written, it will take at least 2 months. So you are not to use that or add that 2 months to the 6 months of Canada immigration, of IRCC's processing. The 6 months is different from the 2 months you spent on getting your documents ready. It's different from the 2 months you used in getting your IELTS and TEF Canada done. Do you understand? And if, for instance, peradventure you are applying through the provincial nominee program or through the Atlantic Immigrant or any other program that we know about that requires the province to, first of all, process your credentials, or the society or maybe like the community to process your credentials first, then depending on the province, it can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months before those provinces themselves complete their own processing. And it is only after when they complete their own processing, especially when you are working or you are applying for a provincial nominee program that is not linked to express entry. It is only when they complete theirs that is when they would now actually start the permanent residency pathway or the permanent residency duration of the 6 months after you have gotten approved by the province or the community. Let me give you a particular example. If you are applying for the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, OINMP, the OINMP states on their own website that it takes roughly 70 to 100 days, working days, calendar days rather, to get what? To get the French speaking skilled worker program or French speaking skilled worker stream, to get them approved. You understand? So 70 to 100 days, that's roughly about 2 to 3 months period. So you have to wait 2 to 3 months period for them to approve you before you now go onto the express entry pool, because you would get your ITA after getting the 600 points from them. Before you now get that 600 points added, and you now have to wait for your ITA, which is coming almost immediately, and now wait for another 6 months to get you. And you see, that is roughly about 8 to 9 months period before you have to wait to get your permanent residency in Canada. And it can take less than that depending on how fast they are processing your credentials, and it can take more, especially if you have some reasons for them not to approve you quickly. If you don't have a complete application, it can take more. If they doubt some of what you have submitted, it may take more period. If they actually probe you based on some of the documents or some of the details you submitted, it may take more time, up to a year and even more, to get your permanent residency status in Canada. So thank you very much. I do hope I've been able to answer that question very well. If you have any further questions, then kindly put it down on the comment section, or even go on our RSVP page for the webinar to ask your own questions so that you get featured in our Q&A session just like this. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit on the notification bell to get updated anytime we drop a content, and like and share this video with your friends and family that want to also migrate to Canada. Thank you very much, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.